The first Prime Minister of India, Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru, had a vision for the nation. So he wanted to bring India a social and economic change. As we have discussed earlier, the states were divided. What Jawaharlal Nehru has get afraid or scared of is that will this division be adding to the nation or will it be a disaster to a nation? But really, in reality, if you see now, the division of the state has consolidated India to emerge into a stronger nation. Now let us moving on to the topic of social and economic changes. According to Jawaharlal Nehru, he set up planning commission. Just a month after the elections were completed, he immediately set up the planning commission in order to get a perfect planning for the nation. His ideology in getting perfect planning is to get perfect economy of the nation. In this economy, he had a very good vision of getting good polity. In the good polity, he means that if a nation is developed very well, then the small issues of caste divisions, creed divisions, the religious divisions, the other divisions will disappear from the development point of view. So Jawaharlal Nehru want to have a good political condition where there will not be any divisions based on these things. So in order to develop this, the planning commission was set up. The planning commission's main responsibility was to plan the funds carefully and to allot to the respective departments and make that the work will be done and ensure that this particular amount has been given to that particular department. And the key focus was in the first 5-year plans. Planning Commission initiated the 5-year plans, and the first 5-year plan came into effect from 1951 to 56. The first 5-year plan initial period was to develop the agriculture. How to develop the agriculture? Because in a country like India where 80% of the Indians are on the agricultural backdrop. So if you develop the agriculture, automatically majority of the people will get the development. So in order to get the majority of development or sustainability of their life, Jawaharlal Nehru has focused clearly on the agricultural setup. In order to get better developments in the agriculture, he came forward with a 3-pointed view. That is that first one is the land, second one is the zamindari system, third one irrigation facilities. The first point is the land ceilings. The land, excess land, whichever is maintained by anybody, should be abolished and redistributed for the landless poor people. The zamindar system also has to be abolished. It should be redistributed and the tax system should be reduced. At the same time, we should provide the irrigation facilities for all the regions wherever it is necessary and wherever it is required. And we need to build major dams. We need to build major small check dams to provide water for all the people or lands. Now, coming to the land distribution, zamindari system and irrigation. Initially, the Land Ceiling Act was passed and the lands were grabbed. But in true spirit, the lands were not distributed actually to the landless poor people. The lands were occupied or taken over by the government, but for a larger period of time, the entire lands were under the control of the major landlords who are present here and the zamindars who maintained their control by removing the Dalits or the lower caste people for whom the lands were allotted. And in some regions, the irrigation facilities provided not only the drinking water but also the facilities for agriculture in all the regions. So the dams have provided good advantage, but because of the unsatisfied or unfulfilled Land Ceiling Act, the people could not accomplish their goals of establishing a free and fair agricultural setup. In this way, the initial first-year plan was not met to its success, but we have to acknowledge that it has the irrigation facilities which improved in the larger areas. In the second 5-year plans, we have got the concentration on the industrial sector. What happened for the industrial sector? Whether the industrial sector saw its success? What happened in the same with the first 5-year plan? What it was repeated with the second 5-year plan? We shall discuss about that now. The analysis of the points what Jawaharlal Nehru has made here is, in the first 5-year plans, he made his concentration very clear that the development of the agriculture sector can be done by doing these three concepts, that is the land reforms, the agriculture and the local self-government, the agricultural activities. Through land reforms, he want to grab the land ceiling acts and to curb all the unnecessary lands which are held by the landlords and to redistribute them to the landless poor people, so that we can bring them employment, at the same time we can balance the development and we can get it into equality. And agricultural activities includes that providing irrigational facilities for them and providing loans to the cooperative societies to make them to get the finances and remove them from the clutches of the money lenders. This was the intention behind this. And the third point is that the local self-government, any issues, the local people can deal it very better than a person who is far away in Delhi. So in order to inculcate the true spirit of democracy and the local setup as per the view of Gandhiji, the decentralization of power has to be required. So he expressed the view that the local self-government should be very strong and all their problems should be known to the local people first, then only the action can be taken. So in this way, Jawaharlal Nehru came forward with a view of development of social and economic changes by bringing these changes in the first 5-year plans. But initially the plan was very successful. Many dams and irrigation projects were constructed. They supplied water for the fields for agriculture, but the lands were not distributed truly to the people. That was a failure here. The first 5-year plan could not meet its success. The next 5-year plan was shifted its concentration from not only to the agriculture sector to the industrial sector. In this way, the shift of agriculture to the industries was happened, because it is a time period for us to discuss about the industrial sector also. And most of the people in the around world are concentrating after the industrial revolution to rebuild and build more and more industries, so that people can get employment. At the same time, people will be shifted from the primary occupation to the secondary occupation, which is a stable one when compared to the agricultural sector. In this way, the shift from first 5-year plan to second 5-year plan moved on towards from agriculture to industries. Now let us see what happened about the foreign policy of India. What steps were taken towards the foreign policy of India? Who were the key leaders who helped Jawaharlal Nehru to take the foreign policy?